When you guys are like going along and you're cooking, it's great. But do you sense when it starts going downhill too? Do you sense like, okay, we're starting to lose it here. The train's coming off the track.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about all of us is that we knew a lot about the business, so we knew when things were going well. We knew when it was, and we knew when it wasn't. So we did everything we could. There's only so many ways you can sell, you know, rest in peace, Judy Bagwell on the pole matches, and we did the best we could. But at some point, um, we saw that it really had become something less than it was. But again, what WCW was when most folks now think it was at its lowest was still better than a lot of the stuff we see today. A lot better.
I
And it
totally agree.
wasn't nearly as bad as folks remember.
I totally agree. I would take any of that over most of the stuff I see today. It's crazy. Even some of like the big important stuff going on, I was like, I'd rather take whatever WCW had going because at least WCW had a really good roster. You know what I mean? They had depth on the roster,
Yes, very much so.
and every guy could work. I mean, Benoit, he's working the mid card. You know what I mean? Eddie, Ray, Dean, Jericho, Alex Wright was really good. I mean, Ultimo Dragon. I can go on and on. I mean, the roster was
And I know, and all of the luchadors. I mean, every one of them. Ray
yep.
Jr., Juventud, Psicosis, and then there's 20 more. They were all fantastic.
Man, that I did the roster is just to me just unparalleled. It's just unbelievable, like
Yeah,
roster for
yeah,
WCW. Kevin Sullivan always says too, and I buddies with him. He always says he's like the little thing to sink the Titanic. It's like a little chink here, a little chink there, like
yeah.
Goldberg losing, Starcade '97, the Hogan Sting kind of screw up, right? Do you
Right.
see that like as the announcers like, oh, I can't let that happen. Oh, like you know what I mean? Little mistakes along the way.
Yeah, there were times when I guarantee you we're sitting out at the announce table and we see something. And again, we didn't know what was going to happen because they want the emotion to be real. And they at that time they really didn't want it to be real because we would have said, "What are they doing? The worst booking we've ever seen." But we didn't say that. Obviously, we did everything we could to put it over. But yeah, we saw that from our position.
What did you think, like, when Eric leaves in September of '99 and they end up bringing Russo in? Did you think, like, okay, this is going to revitalize us, or do you think, like, okay, North guy, he's not going to work for WCW. It's a little bit different down here.
No, no, I thought it was going to work, and it did. I mean, if you're measuring it by ratings and by buy rates, when Vince Russo came in, it worked. People forget that the ratings went up, the buy rates went up, not stratospheric. We weren't winning again, but he stopped the bleeding. But at some point, when you level out at such a low level, um, there are going to be changes made, and that's what happened to Vince.
What did you think as WCW is getting closer to the end? Are you sensing anything like, oh man, like this, like it's not getting good? You're starting to tape Nitro and Thunder on the same days. Like, what did you think about heading towards the end of WCW? Were you feeling it?
Yeah, we knew. To this day, I will use uh, the analogy of what happened with us in Orange County, and I can't remember the dates rather. But and hear me out on this, and knowing that I've got the dates completely wrong. But if you can imagine, on July 1st, we're in Chicago at the Rosemont Horizon, and we've got an 18,000 seat building and 16,000 screaming fans. The next week, we're in the Mark of the Quad in Iowa, in Cedar Rapids, I think, and we've got 14,000 screaming fans for Nitro. And then 2 weeks later, we're in the Omni in Atlanta, and we've got 12,000 screaming fans. Every week it gets lower and lower, but from watching the television show, you wouldn't know there was one less person because we were drawing the most rabid fans. And then eventually we end up in Orange County, California, at the I think it's like the community center or something like that. And there's like 900 people for a nitro. And
Whoa.
it's, they're crazy loud, but it's 900 people. And 2 months previously, we had been playing in front of 16,000. But, and so we knew, we could see that. And then the analogy and the words that I always use is, we're heading for Orange County. If I see something, even in my real job or something in real life, I say, that's not going to work. We're heading for Orange County.